This is Lewis up for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Delighted today to join with Billy Nelson. It's been about, I guess, not even 12 hours since Anthony Joshua knocked out Daniel Dubois. Obviously, yourself was there, I was there. But yeah, how was things, mate? How did you enjoy last night?
Oh, that was a great night. What a stadium at Wembley is, isn't it? It's absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal inside and out. Uh, I'd like to thank the organisers for arranging for me to go and watch the fights. Uh, Great night of boxing. Uh, just a great night. A great night. And the Liam, was it Noel Gallagher? Brilliant as
Liam
well.
Gallagher. Liam
Liam
Gallagher,
Gallagher.
yeah.
I'm not into music, but I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, just sort of touching on that now, the whole event from top to bottom. I'd say yeah, definitely some of the fights delivered, but from your thoughts, the whole event was something special.
Oh, exceptional, exceptional.
Yeah,
Really, what a
definitely.
buzz! What a buzz about the place. It really was. It was nice to see so many current and old boxers there as well. I was surrounded with them. Brilliant.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And I guess we'll touch on it now. Anthony Daniel Dubois knocking out Anthony Joshua. Inside 5 rounds. Real destructive performance from Dubois. Yeah, I guess what were your thoughts on the fight?
Well, it wasn't what I thought would have happened. I must admit. But I think it was clear to anybody with a knowledgeable eye in boxing that AJ's defence was basically non-existent. I mean, if you freeze frame the right hook in the first round, his left hand's at his waist. Now, that you can't get away with that as a novice boxer, let alone against a very hard puncher like Daniel Dubois. Uh, I was disappointed in AJ, very disappointed in his performance. I thought he made the same mistakes continually. He didn't look comfortable. I didn't even like his ring walk. It was just, I'm going in here, and there was no urgency. Daniel looked a wee bit more on edge, and I like that. I like that, in a fighter. He was on edge. He was up for it. I think he was right up for it for the beginning, and I don't think the same could be said for AJ.
With you saying that there, it was a question that I was going to get onto. Like Anthony's Joshua's defense there, as you said, was really leaky. Like obviously got caught big and dropped in the first round. Do you think like sort of how big of a concern was it that it was so leaky? Do you think it was more of a case of him getting caught and not being able to recover since that, or like a whole sort of fundamental issue?
Well, if you get caught with something as big as what he did in the first round, surely your tactics change slightly, and nothing changed. Nothing. In fact, it got worse. If anything, it got worse, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think he got dropped at the end of one of the rounds and came out and tried to go gun ho again and get dropped immediately at the beginning of the next round.
Mhm.
And for goodness sake, get your hands up, elbows in, start moving about and get your legs back underneath you. But see, listen, no matter what a coach tells you, sometimes boxers just revert to type, and unfortunately, he obviously didn't listen. No matter what anybody says, he didn't listen. I wasn't
It
I wasn't privy to what was said in the corner,
yeah.
but I'm sure they never told him to go out and go gun ho against somebody that's just dropped you a minute earlier.
Yeah. With you saying that, I think there was a point in the fight that AJ, I think he was like sort of when Dubois was sort of having success, he went and stuck his tongue out like to Ben Davis to say like I'm okay. Like, do you think that was more AJ sort of not really following the instructions then?
Of course, of course. It's when people do that, it's generally they're hurt.
Yeah.
Things haven't things never went according to plan one iota last night for Team Joshua. You know what I mean? It wasn't nice to watch because Joshua's a cracking guy, a lovely guy, and he's done wonders for British boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, mate, people need to be honest with people, and AJ needs to retire now. He needs to retire now. He's done extremely well out of boxing. He's a lovely guy. He's got all his faculties about him. People love him because he's a genuinely nice guy. but he needs to stop fighting now because always it's not going to end up well. You don't like seeing that.
Do you not still think that he can be an exciting, like he can still fight like a Dillian White or still be an exciting fight? It's like what is sort of the reason that you'd like to see him retire?
But with the fullest respect, he beat Dillian White twice. What do you gain out of beating Dillian White again?
Yeah, just a name I'd throw out there, yeah, from the heavyweight.
I think any of the top names do what Daniel Dubois done to him last night. Certainly, he's no chance against Fury based on that performance. Who wants to see him in a third fight against Usyk? Nobody, because he barely won a round in 24.
Yeah.
And I'm not being horrible. I'm just being, and this is just my opinion. People might disagree, but I think most will agree.
Yeah, completely fair enough. Just sort of taking away the focus from Anthony Joshua, do you think there's a lot of credit then could be given to Daniel Dubois the way he came out so aggressive, deployed the jab really well, as you say, like it was sort of different to what you expected. So was you impressed by the way Daniel came out in the first round?
It was only different because of the lack of ability on the night from AJ. Yeah. Yes, his jab was good, but AJ was landing jabs. I mean, he was landing some jabs.
Yeah, okay,
but,
that's fair.
Listen. Let's get Martin Bakole in. Let's get to the bottom line.
Yeah.
Let's get Martin
that's what I was going to get into.
Let's get Martin Bakole in with Daniel Dubois. Frank Warren will never, ever, ever allow that fight to happen unless Martin's the mandatory. Never. A hand to my heart, Don Charles once says to me, what Daniel Dubois, what would happen to Daniel Dubois if he fought Martin Bakole? And it wouldn't end nicely. And nothing's gonna ever nothing will change. Nothing will change. Martin will school Daniel and stop him.
Do you think that fight is possible? I know you said Warren would take it, but with Riyadh season and Turkey Al Sheikh, like, do you think that fight could get made? Because a lot of people were calling for it on Twitter yesterday.
Well, why not? Because now AJ obviously. I mean, how can you get a rematch clause and a voluntary defence? That's scandalous. It's holding the whole landscape of the heavyweight boxing up. It's terrible. But as of today or tomorrow, Ajit Kabayal will go from number 3 to number 1, and Martin will go from number 4 to number 2. So there's your number 2 challenger. Everybody in Britain knows the Martin now. Coming off a career best win. I mean, let's be honest. His wins against Tony Yoka and Takam and Anderson supersede anything that Caballo's done. He beat Frank Sanchez, he beat him in good style. But we'd fight Caballero. We'd fight Caballero, no problem, just to get the number 1 if the money was right. Fight Caballero for the number 1 spot in the IBF. So then Martin's number 1 in the IBF and number 1 in the WBA. How much more does he need to do to fight for a world title?
Yeah. And you say that now, where yesterday I looked on Twitter and I saw a lot of people calling for, the Bakole or Bakole in exciting fights. Like, how good is it now that he is finally getting the notoriety? As you say, all it took was that Jared Anderson win. You knew how good he was, but is it finally good to see him getting that main notoriety that you've been calling for so long?
No, of course it is. Of course it is. But we've achieved nothing yet. We will once we get the opportunity of a world title, whether it be because Usyk or Fury relinquish the title and we've got to fight for a vacant title. I'd rather beat a champion. I'd rather go and beat Usyk or Fury or Daniel, and then rather than fight for a vacant title, because there's naysayers out there say, "Oh, it was a vacant title. You could have, you've not fought a champion." Well, but we'll fight a champion. We'll fight Daniel, no problem whatsoever. But Daniel won't fight Martin, and I'm not being a smart ass. That's fact. Believe me.
Yeah.
They're not putting Zhang in with Martin.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, because he'll get smashed at smithereens.
Yeah, definitely. But, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just before I do let you go, actually, Billy, and just quickly moving on. Obviously being a Scottish man yourself, I did actually want to ask you about Willy Hutchinson against Joshua Buatsi yesterday. What were your thoughts on that fight?
I thought Joshua was exceptional last night.
Yeah.
His distance control was magnificent. switching it from head to body. I just didn't see the snapping Willy's work last night, and that was from early doors. Willy's a sharpshooter, Willy's a clever fighter. Good fighter. Maybe it was just a bad night. I'm hoping it's just a bad night in office. Willy's only 25, remember. He's not even got his man strength yet. But I thought Joshua Buatsi's performance, along with Shiraz, who I told everybody, Shiraz is going to be a superstar, mate. He's some fighter. He's a exceptional fighter. Those two were along with Daniel, the highlight of the night.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it was good to see you as well, Billy, yesterday. I do appreciate you taking the time to speak to me this morning. And when I speak for myself, I think we'd all love to see Martin against Daniel Dubois. So hopefully, we'll be what you say.
I think everybody would like to see the fight. It's just people have got to protect their interests, and to be fair, Turkey Al Sheikh is he doesn't see it that way. I think he'd be happily put Martin in with Daniel. But fingers crossed it could happen, and then we become a world champion 100%.
Absolutely, Billy. Always a pleasure to catch up with you, mate. Appreciate the time.
Take care, mate. All the best.